Hi, I'm Sean Dunn, and welcome to this episode of Origin to Ambition, the Entrepreneur's Journey. In this conversation, I speak with Maggie McPherson. She's the owner of IMC Engadine in New South Wales, which is a martial arts school, a multidisciplinary martial arts school for children from the age of 2 all the way up to any age at the top. She's grown up in martial arts since being an early teenager and joining a martial arts school herself, and evolved from being a student to being an assistant teacher to being an instructor to then becoming a martial arts business owner. She's got some great lessons and some great advice for any small business owners out there and people potentially looking to start a business. So for this week, I invite you to enjoy the episode and listen on. Welcome to Origin to Ambition, the show where we explore the small business entrepreneur's journey in business. I'm your host, Sean Dunn. Let's get into it. Hello, Maggie McPherson. Thanks for joining me on Origin to Ambition.
No worries at all. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
No, I really appreciate your time. So thanks for doing this, and I'm really keen to hear your story. And on that note, would you take us into your current business? You're a business owner, so take us through that business, what that business does, the name of the business, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I own IMC Engadine. It's a martial arts centre. It's located in Engadine, which is Sutherland Shire. Pretty much we've been open since November 2019, and the business itself, it's a martial arts school that we do multiple disciplines, so karate, kickboxing, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and we teach from as young as 2 years old, so it's pretty intense.
Yeah, so from 2 years old up to really to anyone.
Yeah, adults. Whoever's willing to give it a go.
Yeah, good. How big's the school?
So we have 150 students at the moment. The ultimate goal is to get it to 200. Floor space wise, that would be capacity for us at this location. But it's everything I wanted, so can't complain at all.
Excellent. That leads me probably beautifully into my next question. So do you mind, Maggie, taking us through, just give us a bit about your background, where you came from and what you were doing prior to being a business owner?
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. So I can take you all the way back. So I grew up in a family of 7, single income family, and I was the middle of 5 children. So that was quite adventurous. I actually started, I started martial arts. My little brother was getting bullied. And so my parents took us to a martial arts school that was in the area. And pretty much I just went with him for the sake of I was there. I didn't have an exponential passion yet for martial arts, but I knew Bruce Lee. I liked all the movies. I sat watched it with Dad. So yeah, I just joined in and pretty much never left. So I did martial arts from when I was 12 years old. So 20 years now, and it's been an amazing journey. I'm super lucky that I pretty much fell into my profession. So I couldn't have asked for an easier road to where I got to. From 14 years old, I started working part-time with Hanchi Paul. So Paul Zadro is the founder of IMC. I have one IMC school, but there's 7 in New South Wales, which is amazing. And then from 14, I then just worked under Hanchi Paul at his Kemps Creek location. And I was there until I was 18. When he offered me a job, full-time position at IMC Liverpool, which was the second location at the time. And I worked with, he's now Shihan, he was sensei then, Robbie Castellano. So I worked under him for 10 years and then decided that I just wanted to do it my way, essentially. Like, it was great being a part of a team. I learned a lot, and we're still a team. We still catch up every week, have a meeting, talk about what's going on. But to be able to do it the way I foreseen it and the way I thought would be better to suit my personality and my character and how I wanted to nurture and grow it in my own way in that sense. So I was very lucky to get where I got to in a very steady progression.
Yes, it's interesting because you sort of just said before that you sort of fell into it, so to speak. And I guess that is a bit of a question around business ownership. I think you've just outlined why you became a business owner. I think you've made that pretty clear there that you wanted to do it your way, I guess. And do things that worked for you, I guess,
Yeah.
in that sense. But on that topic of, and this comes up in a lot of these discussions, that's why I'm sort of focusing on it now that you've raised it. I do find when I'm working with clients and new clients that come on board for business financial advice that oftentimes they say exactly that they fell into what they're doing. Or someone has a passion for something and then just evolves that, I guess, into a business.
Yeah.
Take me to the decision. So you give me the motivation for wanting to be self-employed, but take me through the decision to actually then say, right, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. With the decision per se, it was more that I had brought it up to Robbie at the time and I was like, look, this is what I want. This is how I want to do it. Can we get it done? And he was kind of hesitant. The team is very supportive, but also I stereotypically in a martial arts setting am a 4-foot female. So looking at that from a business perspective, will people accept that? Will people be able to see past stature? Things like that he was worried about, which I completely understand now.
On a serious note, mate, now because I know you, do you just want to let our listeners know how tall are you?
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm 4'11". I think it's 148 centimeters tall.
Yeah,
So most
yeah.
of my students are taller than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd just clarify that. You are taller than 4 feet at least, so
Yeah,
that's something.
yeah.
No. So that's interesting though that there was some resistance to your potential success, I suppose, or the perception of your potential success
Yeah.
based on stature.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it is still common in just the martial arts industry as a whole. There is a lot more females, 100%, and I'm blessed to be able to see it and be a part of the era that there's so many successful females in the industry. But I am also a small female, which has its own problems, as I'm sure you can imagine.
I think it's quite powerful. But I was just interested that perception just was immediately there based on appearance. I suppose the old potentially judging a book
by its cover. Yeah.
Cover. Yeah, exactly. So when you did kick off, so when exactly, take us through when you kicked off the business?
Yeah, so we opened November 2019, which was a strange time of year, but that's just how the cards fell, and I am one to just roll with it. I'm not one to try and break it down too much and pick it apart. I'm happy to just roll with the punches. So end of the year we opened.
Can I jump in there? Sorry to cut you off, Maggie.
No, that's okay.
Because I think that's a point. I don't want to lose it and forget about it later, in that you roll with the punches. So
yeah,
is that something? So this is an interesting one because a lot of business owners, some business owners sort of feel like they don't plan, and some feel like they really do plan, and some business owners feel like they have to plan to control.
Okay.
And then some business owners just get on with it. So when the hard times come, they sort of plow through or push through. Now that's what you're saying about yourself. Do you think that that's a key element of being an entrepreneur?
I definitely think that if you try to plan everything and control it all, you're going to end up very disappointed. You're going to end up very upset a lot of the time. I don't think being an entrepreneur is about having a goal, having a plan, and it completely coming to fruition without any hiccups. You need to be able to sail choppy waters and get through them with your mental health intact. Running a business is stressful, it's hard, and it's not going to always be easy. And if you can't flex and adapt and be like water, as Bruce Lee says, and roll with the punches, you're going to struggle mentally to cope with those challenges.
That's interesting. And it's interesting because we went off on a bit of a tangent there that I actually want to explore further. However, I already derailed you on you taking me through the startup of the business. So I'd like to circle back to that because I think there is a theme. I don't work exclusively with martial arts business owners, but I do have a number of clients that are martial arts business owners, and I do want to explore, even for people who are not martial artists, just that connection between the study of martial arts and business. But let's come back to that if that's okay. And
Yeah, of course.
you were saying you started the business in November
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
And of course, my immediate thought is what was coming up
COVID.
early in the following year. Yeah. So
Yeah.
take me through it, because you would have had to roll with plenty of punches there, I presume.
Yeah, that was our first full-blown tsunami. I wasn't going to say choppy water at sea. That was a full-blown, yeah, that was crazy. So we grew to 70 students by February the following year, which I was super happy with. And then March, we closed down due to COVID, and we had only just opened. We were just getting established in the area. Our next closest school from our location is like more than 30 minutes away. So in this area, we weren't as well known as the other areas that have already been around for quite a number of years. Kemps Creek has been open for over 45 years. So it was daunting. It was very scary. And I was very lucky that I had the whole IMC team to help navigate through that. We had to very quickly adapt in a way that was going to allow us to keep our doors open, because we were not able to run classes.
What were some of the things you had to, because this is, again, for any entrepreneurs or small business owners or people thinking to set up small business, can you take me through how you adapted? Because I think adaptability is clearly a skill or a trait that you need to either have or nurture, I think, in small business. So what were the things that you had to do in a really, I mean, there was well-established businesses that struggled to survive the COVID period. So to be newly established, albeit a fast starter by the sounds of it, what did you have to do to adapt?
We had to very quickly set up an online platform that was still able to provide students with some form of learning they could do at home, find ways to get together as a team that still was within the parameters and restrictions that our state had. So at some stages, we couldn't have more than 2 people. So there was literally one person recording and one person standing in front of it trying to get all the content we needed to share with our students. Other times we would have the camera on a tripod on its own and we would have to try and stay in frame if we had to do partner stuff. So there was a lot of things that we had to navigate through. And like I said, we were just very lucky that we were a part of a team that could work together. So we created an online platform very quickly. We created a revenue stream by making it a subscription base. So they were able to still contribute to the running of the business during that period. And it was enough that we were able to keep the doors open when all the restrictions were lifted. But that was definitely our first big the biggest challenge we've faced, really, because in our first 12 months of being open, we were closed for 8 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was wild. Fittest I'd ever been. I had all the time in the world to just train, but but also not ideal.
No. It's funny. We had, I'm in Victoria, so we had tighter restrictions. But it was funny. I took up running during that period because I was allowed to stay within, I don't know,
I think it's 5 kilometers
or whatever crazy restriction it was.
Wow. Here was 5 kilometers.
I think it was 5, yeah.
And even that felt way too tight. Too tight.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So on the adaptability, so in a way you pivoted into really having you're delivering the same service in a sense, in that it's martial arts, or the same product if we want to use it in that terminology, but you've delivered it in an entirely different way that you wouldn't have anticipated. I mean, it's a really one-on-one personalised, it might be class-based, but very personal, physical interaction, and then you've effectively become an online business.
Yeah, which was interesting because a nice big team of martial artists, no one was overly thrilled to be a wiggle in front of a camera. So that was interesting. It was good. It was good to watch. It was good to see how all the martial artists in our team came together to do different sort of videos. So there was still a big variety of content, a big variety of personalities still within the platform, which I think helped us a lot to stay above water and provide the same sort of level of service as what we could in the gym, even though it wasn't as personal. It wasn't as...
Well, you removed,
it was very hard to be there but not be there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's... Well, and look, one more question on this sort of theme without trying to, belabor it, but how did you find then engaging with students? Because
I did a lot of phone calls. I did a lot of video calls to the actual families. I'm not sure if any of the other martial artists in our team did, but like we still had the software running and stuff, so we could see when birthdays were. I would get on, I'd do a video, happy birthday, such and such, like hope you're doing well. Send us a video of your training, of you practicing, let me know where you're at, sort of thing. So just kept trying to touch base with all the families, and it helped. It helped a lot.
Yeah, so just really strengthening the relationship through contacts.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, that's awesome. That's an awesome story. So we get past COVID, and it's been onwards and upwards ever since. I take it.
Yeah, it has. It's been really good. We're very lucky, very fortunate. I work with my husband. He is the kickboxing instructor at our dojo, and he's amazing. And it's been really good. I have a strong team around me, even within my own dojo. So a lot of young junior instructors coming up that we're mentoring, and it's been amazing. I'm super lucky.
On that point, and that's so you're leading me into a awesome area of discussion that I love talking about. So you talk about having a team around you.
Yeah, definitely. You can't do everything. I've learned that you can't do it all.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That team. So what's I guess the question I often ask of business owners is what advisors do you have around you? So that's one of the questions I ask, and it can be whether you lean on a business financial advisor like me, or whether you lean on your accountant, or whether you lean on a mentor. So it could just be a mentor in your industry, for example. But I think what you were just touching on there about your team was actually the team that's even, I guess, that you're mentoring.
Yeah.
They're part of your team. Can you take me through your team, like your team structure?
Yeah. So I came from, I guess, a team within the martial arts industry. So Hanchi Paul, Shihan Ivana, Shihan Robbie, they were pretty much my...
jump in, Maggie. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who've got no idea what you're talking about. Shihan and so. So I'll just clarify that these are kind of like, titles, for want of a better term, instructor ranks.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
In martial arts generally, especially Japanese martial arts. So for anyone listening, these are not these people are not all sharing the same first name or anything like that. So these are instructor ranks. So I'm sorry to jump in.
No, that's okay. I didn't even think to clarify because this is just my world now. So I appreciate you doing that.
And you know that I know, but maybe some other people don't know. So yeah.
So those three in particular, they've all known me since I was 12 years old. So another thing, Hanchi Paul really took me under his wing and provided opportunity, especially because, like I said to you at the start, we came from a single income family of 7. So it came to a point where I was going to have to leave the dojo because we just simply couldn't afford it. And Hanchi Paul was like, "You're really good at what you do. I want you to still be around. I don't want to see you have to lose something that you now love." I was there 6 days a week. Like I was in it. And he offered me opportunity to still train and not pay. And then he offered me casual work and all the opportunities that he helped provide and teach me along the way. Like I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for that team of people. Shihan Ivana has been like a mother to me, honestly, the amount of love and support. And she's a harder. She'll tell me when I'm doing something wrong, or she'll tell me like, "No, don't do that. That's stupid." And I appreciate that. My father's Greek. I needed that, to be honest. And then Robbie was a separate learning experience. Robbie is awesome at what he does. He is very clever in terms of business and driven in goals, and he knows what he wants and how to get it. So he's amazing in that aspect. But working with somebody like Robbie, we are both headstrong, but we have different views on things. So he knows how to run it as a business, and I am much better at people. So when he was my boss and I was working under him, it got interesting a few times. But again, lots of lessons I learned from him that I use every day now. My biggest lesson from him is you need to take bad criticism, even if you don't want to hear it. You need to listen to that and you need to take it on board and you need to adapt with it. You need to try and see where that leads because you'll grow from it. You'll benefit from it. And So I've taken bits of all these people and brought it into the team that my husband and I have created for our dojo. So we hold our juniors, so they're 18, 17, 18-year-olds, but I've been training them since they were 14. So they were just students. I waited 12 months to see how committed they were, what sort of values they had, how they were willing to learn, because you can teach anyone anything, but they need to be willing to learn it. They need to want to. So then we have what's called a leadership team. So we teach them how to teach, how to interact, how to say hello, how to just be polite, how to take what someone says and implement it in a positive light to help them feel like they are getting everything they want out of it and more. So we've been really lucky to mold our team through the leadership to get everything we want out of an entire team, not just myself and my husband, because that would just be too hard. So we've got 3 boys that are casual staff that are doing amazing, and I'm already setting up for the next generation. The next one is 13 at the moment. He's a gun. If he sticks with it, he's going to be amazing. And I've got a couple of girls in mind too that are 11, 12, a little bit younger still, so they're going to be a while off. But already planning to have the whole team as a whole, how I want it from now to then is looking amazing. It's looking really good.
That's excellent. So I'm going to circle back a fraction and say that, would you say, being a business owner, one of the things you learned working with a mentor, you had a mentor group effectively, like a group of mentors. So a group of mentors, one of the things that you learned was to learn.
Yeah.
But would you also say that, I mean, because I think that that's critical in business, that you have a mind that's open to always learning. Is that sort of what you learned, that you're always learning?
Yeah, 100%. You never stop learning. You never stop growing. You never stop discovering, finding new things about yourself and the people around you too. Like, I am a lot more resilient because of owning a business, more so than just the martial arts. I already thought I was resilient because of the martial arts, but then you start owning a business and facing other challenges, and you're like, oh, well, if I wasn't then, I definitely am now. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're a small business owner as well, so absolutely, you're always learning, and you're always learning. Something can always be around the corner, I suppose, and you need to work with it and deal with it. But so I'm interested in, you have spoken a lot. This was not something I was planning to necessarily discuss, but you've mentioned the word team, several times just in the last couple of minutes. So you do seem to be very team focused. And that's about the team, having the team around you and above, below.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things I thought about what you just said is you clearly have a long-term vision for some of your students as well. And we often call that in business building a bench. So having a bench of staff and team members that you can rely on to step up and play a role. And this kind of leads into a question where I say, what's next for the business, for your business? Does this form part of that longer term plan that, I mean, you're pretty young to be probably thinking about succession, I would have thought, but is this kind of making the business exit ready, a saleable business?
Yeah. So pretty much the end goal for myself and my husband with this business is, I'm living the dream, and I say that wholeheartedly. I love my job. I tell everyone, if I win the lotto tomorrow, I'm still going to work Monday to Friday. You'll never see me again on a weekend, but I truly love my job. Like, I am one of the luckiest people able to honestly say, I love what I do. I love going to the dojo. I love teaching. I love learning. I love meeting people. I love being able to pass on things and watch kids flourish. I take kids that will not speak at all to counting in class and taking groups, and it's just phenomenal to see the change you can have in people's lives just through something so simple. And so very lucky in that aspect, and having a team and a plan, it all comes with the exit strategy, of course. So eventually we want to grow this school to another 25%. Like I said, 200 would be max that we can fit. So once we've done that, we'll start prepping to open a second location somewhere closer to home for my husband and I. And then we'll use that to essentially exit and find our retirement plan and still be involved in the business without being completely invested in the business, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I raise that because it sounds like, when you've got those plans to be able to build a team like that, that usually fall. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people can't exit because they don't build a team.
Yeah, and it happens a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, and also when I talk exit, I'm pretty big on, again, it's not about talking about me today, it's about you. But I'm big on saying have your business exit ready, even if you're not looking to exit, because if it's exit ready, it's a good business.
Yeah.
Because it means someone else can step in and take over.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it sounds like you're already on that pathway of making sure that, the succession would be something that would occur for you. You also just touched on talking about when we think about your journey, where you've really sort of gone into martial arts as a teenager and never left, so to speak. And then luckily, fortunate to have mentors to take you on the journey as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
When going into business, though, because this is one of the things that you often find is that people that are good at something start a business in something, building widgets, right? They love building, and they're really good at it, but they don't know much about business. What's the one thing you think, what was the main thing you had to learn when you said, right, I'm stepping into running a business? What do you think was your biggest skill gap, for want of a better term?
Yeah. That I was already well equipped on how to run the management of a business, but actually running the business in terms of financial planning and making sure I was going to cover the cost of the bills and making sure I was going to be able to have enough aside so that if something like COVID happened, I was going to be able to navigate through that. I had no idea about that beforehand. The other thing I had to quickly learn doing this is that as a small business, because even though we have a team, it's still just like a sole proprietary business. It's just owned by a single person. So I had to wear many hats to start with. I had to work a lot more than what I worked for when I was with Robbie. I'd go to work. I'd start at 2. I'd finish at 9. I'd live my best. There's a lot more to it when you are doing it for yourself. But so time management. My biggest challenge was managing my time between home, work, getting the business to grow and having the business financially sustainable, and also balancing all the things we have going on. I have 2 beautiful stepsons, so managing all the things all at once and still making it run as a smooth operating machine.
And still teaching.
Yeah, and teaching
you're not just
as well.
a business operator, you're still on the front line teaching.
Yeah.
But that's clearly something you're looking to make the business less reliant on.
Yeah.
At the time as you build your team. So, okay. So financial planning and management and time management, probably the 2 biggest ones that stood out there that you had to learn. I think we've covered off. I like to ask business owners, why do they do what they do? And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, I heard you talk about quite passionately, what you bring to children, I think especially. Do you just want to sort of recap, why do you do what you do?
Yeah, I love being able to create a safe space for all people, adults included. We have a big group of adults in our kickboxing that I want everyone to come in and feel welcomed. I want everyone to feel like they have a safe space, that they are a part of this community, and we are always going to be there for them, whether it's in the dojo or out of it.
Yes.
And for little kids especially, having them be able to come to someone safe and take things from them. Having mum and dad at home it's a completely different relationship to having another adult that's trying to bring out some confidence, trying to bring out, mum and dad are always going to be safe. You're going to always be able to play and be silly in front of mum and dad. But when you're in a group of another 15 children and 3 or 4 staff members, are they going to still feel safe enough and comfortable enough to come out of their shell? So we do a lot of character development stuff to help kids come out of their shell, build confidence. We work closely with a few OTs in the area, and they always recommend our school because we're very good at getting kids out of their shell, making them feel confident, safe, respected, and giving them martial arts lessons that are going to help them feel confident everywhere else too. Because once you can defend yourself physically, it's very hard not to be able to defend yourself verbally if it comes to it. You become a whole new person. You become a real strength within yourself to stand up for yourself. And seeing kids that come from very timid, very shy, into that, it's amazing. It's wholesome. It fills my cup. It overflows. It's exactly what I want to see. So to be able to do that for so many people it's what I want. It's what makes me happy.
What values do you place the highest priority on in business? So in running a business, you've got responsibilities to a whole range of, you've got your students, you've got suppliers, you've got, parents, you've got stakeholders everywhere.
Yeah.
What values do you think drive your business? So you've said the team, and that might be, so I'm not trying to lead you.
No, that's okay. That's essentially still number one.
Yeah, but your team also is probably, I would have thought, a reflection of your values as well, because that's how you have a team. Often there's a collective set of values that people live by and adhere to, I suppose. So what would be your key values, even around having a team? Like who do you select to be part of your team?
Yeah, mainly respectful.
Yeah.
You got to have respect. You got to know your place, and you got to make sure that everyone is equally respected. I respect the person I walk past on the street who's asking for change the same as the CEO of Nike. It matters zero to me who you are and where you've come from. Everyone needs to be respected, and I look at the team I have, and they are very respectful. They are very genuinely happy to be polite to everyone. People skills are huge. You need to be liked to run a successful business. No one's going to return if they don't like you, and that's very truthful. So definitely respect is a big one. Being polite, manners. It's so many young children these days don't have that, I've noticed, and it's crazy because it's like in my household, you say please or you starve, you say thank you or don't eat. Like, it's drilled into you, and these days less. So, and also a team that's patient. Patience, not just with people, with yourself. I'm not where I want to be, and being patient enough to get yourself there without causing yourself harm. Yeah. So, lots of values, but they're the key ones.
Patience, respect, and I'm going to say collaboration, because you say team all the time. I'm going to put collaboration as one of your values. So it's really interesting how people do that. If you went back and had to pick one thing that you would change, if you went back heading on 6 years now, I mean, you should be congratulated firstly for surviving COVID when you first started a business, but 6 years, a lot of businesses don't get past the first 2 to 5 years.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You should be congratulated. And I reckon if you can survive 2 years of COVID, I think that's worth another 4 anyway. So, but if you went back and had to change one thing, is there a standout thing that you'd say, I would have done that differently?
There's a few things I would change, definitely, in reflection. The main one would be trying not to waste so much time doing things I'm not qualified to do. I can't market. I don't know what I'm doing. I tried to do that to save myself costs. Didn't go well. I'm not qualified to market. I'm just not. And things similar to that. Trying to do things I'm not qualified to do because I just think I can learn and do it and I'll be fine, or to try and save money, whatever the reasonings are. Letting go of some of those responsibilities to the people that are qualified to do them.
Yeah, I think that's a big lesson that comes through a lot. And we've all done it. We've all done things that ourselves because, when you start your business, you sort of haven't got the cash flow. So
Yeah, exactly right.
the only things you can often do to get things done is either spend money, and if you haven't got the money, spend time. You just give up your time to do it. But it's interesting when you get to a point where you start to weigh up the financial cost of you doing it. So you might say, I'm saving money by not paying somebody, but in fact, if it's just taking me, 4 days to do something that an expert would have done in an hour, it's not actually a cost saving in that sense, because you're not being productive. So does that also fall into team? Like, this is now not inside your business, but these are the people sort of around, like support personnel, I get. You could look at them like, so, maybe you do have a social media marketing contractor, that's, you do use your accountant, you do use an advisor, you do use a lawyer, these are that's the team around you. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I was going to ask you about where you saw your business in the next 5 to 10 years. Is it still that, clearly team development, getting up to your sort of capacity at your current site? When would you see maybe growth in terms of developing a new business site, an extra site for the business?
I'm
is there a time
hoping
frame around that, or?
Yeah, I'm hoping within the next 5 years,
Yeah, okay.
but it's rolling with the punches.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. What about personally? What are your personal goals over the next 5 to 10? So step back. It's very hard to step back from the business when you're so
Invested and
inextricably
involved.
in it. But personally, do you have any personal goals that you're looking to achieve?
Yeah, so my last big goal was last year. I did my 3rd Dan black belt. I did it, which was amazing. So that was my last physical goal I wanted, because then my husband and I are talking about expanding the family and adding to that. So God willing, we'll see how that goes. And pretty much, well, we just want to be happy. We're pretty content at the moment. We were able to buy a house. We have the business. We try and go on holiday once or twice a year, and we're pretty good. We're happy.
Yeah, awesome. That's excellent. What advice would you give? So a key piece of advice. So if somebody's watching / listening to this this discussion, a key piece of advice for somebody who's maybe sitting there thinking, oh, I'd like to start my business.
It's never going to be easier than today. You can plan and you can prep, but it's going to be harder tomorrow when you think of something else that could go wrong. It's going to get increasingly harder when you find different challenges. It's never a better time than right now. It's always going to be tricky, and the more you procrastinate, you're going to find more reasons and more challenges that you're going to think, oh, maybe I'll wait, maybe not, maybe this. It's leaps of faith.
So just get on with it.
Yeah, I think, look, you're gonna struggle. There's gonna be challenges.
Yeah.
But the only way you're gonna know how to navigate it is when you're in it. You can plan all day, and that certain scenario you're worried about doesn't happen. So you've put all this time and effort and energy into planning for something that's irrelevant.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, so get on with it. That's a good piece of advice, I think. I know plenty of clients, and I would count myself as one of them that tends to overplan and tends to almost try and bulletproof it before you've actually tested it. And sometimes I think you're just better off testing it and see what happens. Yeah, absolutely. Tricky question, or maybe not a tricky one. Is entrepreneurship for everyone?
No, it's not. You need to be willing to wear many hats, put in more time than you expect. If you're not passionate about it, I don't think you will be able to take on the load it requires. Until you're able to financially palm off some of the hats, it's a lot. And if you don't love it, and for the reasons of whatever they may be that you're doing it, if you're not wholeheartedly invested, I don't think it's for everyone. I do think people that don't handle stress well will cope a lot less. It is stressful. People that suffer with things like high anxiety around the unknown won't cope well, because if I had that when COVID hit, I probably would have threw in the towel. I would have been like, I can't, no. But I'm pretty resilient in that aspect, and I don't think it is for everyone. Doesn't mean that they can't invest with a team and get to the same goals, but they may not be able to do it just with their own 2 feet, which is fine. Different routes for everyone can still get them there, but I do not think it is for everyone in that sense.
Yes, understand. Yeah, understand. You mentioned passion there a couple of times. Do you think that's a key element as well of, as in you need to be passionate about what you're doing?
Absolutely.
I think it's fair that a lot of people probably don't necessarily feel passionate about business, like general business knowledge, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, you're saying it was key. You've got to love what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And whatever it is, whether it's for me, it's martial arts. For other people, it's the passion of creating the life you want and the finances you want to live the life you want. And if you can find a passionate aspect to that to drive you, it will still work the same, even if the role that you're doing isn't what you're passionate about. If you find something that makes it worth it for you, you'll be able to do it. But if you don't have that and you're doing it just for the sake of watching the dollar in the account rise, it's not enough. It's money isn't everything. I don't think that's enough to keep you doing what you're doing if you're not actually enjoying it.
Yeah, understand. That's great advice. On the point of it being tough, and it can be it generally is tough, especially early on when you start business. So probably one of my final questions coming up. So even though it's tough, is it worth it?
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly. I don't think I could do it any other way now. I don't think I could work for someone else now that I work for myself. I don't have anything against the team. The team above me is great, and I'm sure if I had to go work for them, they would allow that, and I would be able to. But it's not what I want. I want it my way. I want to be able to allocate my time. If I didn't get time to do the things I wanted to do, I can stay up until 1 a.m. and do it, and no one's gonna say no. It was due this morning. Like it's flexible. It's the way I like it done. Some people say that I'm too invested in the people, and each to their own. Maybe in some ways I am, but that's how I like to do it. I am invested in my students. I do want them to do well. Their wins are my wins, and everyone's going to do that a little bit differently. I find it more rewarding that way, and each of the other IMC schools all do that a little bit differently, and there's no wrong answer. It's just not the way I want to do it.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. I've got my last question for you, Maggie. So if you could sum up your entrepreneurial journey so far in one sentence, what would that sentence look like?
All right. So the seas are rough, but you'll find calm in the eye of the storm. Sometimes you'll even enjoy it there.
Yeah, good. Very good. Very good.
Very good. Calm in chaos. Find calm in chaos.
Yeah, gotcha. Find calm in chaos. That's how we'll sum you up.
Yeah.
That's great. Maggie, I really appreciate you spending the time with me today.
No, thank you for having me. This is great.
That takes us to the end of our conversation for today, but I really appreciate it. It's a great story. It's an interesting story, and I learned some things about you today as well. So that's a lot of nuggets there, I think, for people to take away in their journey. Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoy it. And I look forward to working again with you, Sean, in the future for multiple things we'll discuss later.
Yeah, absolutely. Offline.
That's it, offline. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Maggie McPherson, thanks for joining me on Origin to Ambition in this episode. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. And that's all for this episode of Origin to Ambition. Thanks for tuning in. To make sure you don't miss our next conversation, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen in. For more information, you can visit us at dominiumcapital.com.au, and we'll see you next time.